We got a lot of pots going on here. We have YouTube. Hi. We have Daddy's typo soft house. He wrote on Instagram. Thank you, my love. And we have TikTok, and we are answering questions from Safe House Q&A. Our daughter has immediately had an accident, which means that I am here solamente yo. And you guys, can I just tell you, I am so freaking excited because we just booked our family winter vacation. We live in upstate New York in Hudson, and it's like a 2-hour train ride to go down to the city. And we do, because we celebrate the solstice, but also the fact that we have a wonderful business that's very flexible. We can do like on the spot vacations, and we can either also go on days that are cheap. But you guys, our little solstice tradition since we've moved to New York is to basically just mimic Home Alone 2 with the kids. So going down to the city, getting a fancy hotel, and then the kids we go to FAO Schwartz for 2 days. So the first day the kids go and they make their wish lists, and then Reiner buys all the things for Wiley, and Wiley buys all the things for Reiner, and we just kind of do all of the things. And you guys, I fucking love politics because the Trump hotel was so much cheaper than the other ones, and it's like 9.5 out of 10 stars, just like a fucking crazy hotel. And I am so stinking excited because we get to go down there in a little bit, and we're just gonna have the best winter vacation ever. Also, now that my kids are getting a little bit older, when it comes to like their birthdays and stuff, they get to choose if they want gift or trip. They always choose gift at this stage, but I'm really looking forward to being able to give the gift of travel as they get a little bit older, and being able to know that they can go and visit a place where that they've always wanted to go for their birthday trip. So money is an energy that we use to have experiences. It's really not much more and not much less. And the art of getting money and the art of being somebody that can handle a lot of wealth and can make a lot of wealth, it's a spiritual art. It's a spiritual art. And as long as you're in denial about money or wanting money, or just even wanting the things that you want, jealousy is one of the biggest blocks to money. And all through December, we'll be talking about money because it's going to be time to enroll for a Safe House. And we always kick off our Safe House school year with talking about money. But if you want the experiences of like flying first class, or having like a 4-day, $15,000 winter staycation tradition with your family, you can have these things. And you need to start your wealth journey with admitting that you want these things. Because if you want it and then you understand that you can have it with good hard work eventually, then that becomes the game. That becomes the game. What am I going to do with my money? You're not sitting around saying, Jeff Bezos should spend his money like this, and Onami should spend her money like this, and billionaires should not exist. Like, that's just you fantasizing about being able to spend a lot of money. Poor people go, oh, rich people, all they do is think about money. That's absolutely not true. Rich people don't think about money. They think about money way less than broke people do. Broke people are the one running the tab in their head when they're out to dinner. Broke people are the one, like, they're way more obsessed. But once you enter this world of like setting really high desires for yourself and then committing to find a way to reach those in time and actually making the changes, not just saying, oh, I want this and I put this on my vision board, but taking into account, like, I'm never going to have this life on this job. Therefore, something needs to change. I'm never going to be able to do these things on these terms. Therefore, something's going to need a change. And you start making those changes incrementally. You start building a new income stream. You start studying new things. And like, this is so good, not just for you, but for the whole universe. And this is a way of thinking that is never going to come to you if you've surrounded yourself with people that hate wealth that hate capitalism, that just like hate money in general, it's never going to happen for you if you're surrounded by people who think and believe in those ways. So a big misconception about money and a big misconception about the concept of like mastermind is, which is literally like one of the principles in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, is, you know, the concept of a mastermind. We don't run a mastermind, we run a school, but you can meet people there if you want. Is you don't have to surround your physical being with people that are wealthy. So this is not going to be a possibility for you. But you can stop following literally every account of anyone you know. I don't care if they're your best fucking friend. You can remove these. They're not going to be your best fucking friend if you get rich. I guarantee you that. You can remove these conversations from your life. And instead of that, you can put in people that are wealthy. You can surround yourself online with people that are also pro-money, pro-wealth, that understand, that want the financial best for you. People that are rich don't want other people to be poor. They want other people to be rich too so that they can pay them. This is not the government. We're talking about individual wealthy people that get off on having people that have more money that can spend on their products. People that have no budget can't do this. Only the government profits off of keeping these cogs in the economic wheel turning. So this is my favorite season, just period. But also this is my favorite time of year because money is such a, like, I'm very, very spiritual, but I've always known in my life that I wanted to be wealthy, like always. I've also always known in my life that I wanted to be not necessarily famous, but known, internationally known for my work in my field. I've always known this about myself, and admitting that I really wanted these things to the point where I was willing to work for them, that took me 30 years. It took me 30 years to admit that I actually wanted to be rich because I felt so unsafe talking about this with people that I knew. I felt like I was a punk. I felt like it was absolutely not allowed to be rich. I felt like that was just not something. And then once I started even wrapping my head around it, you know, I think I might want to own a house one day instead of renting. I think I might want to live upstate and not have to commute to work 5 days a week. I think I want to permanently reside in upstate New York. Once I started wrapping my head around that, even just accepting that I wanted to be rich, then came in all of these other problems of like, well, now, you know, can I do it? Am I worth it? And these are the things that we're going to get to talk about all December long. So if anybody is new here, most of y'all are not, but this is the Q&A that we do every single Friday at my husband's and my occult business school, which is called Safe House. And Safe House is not a mastermind. It is a school filled with individual students that have individual relationships with me, not a group. And they ask their individual questions on Friday, and I answer them individually on Friday. Now, to satisfy all of my students, we live stream these questions, but I will be giving them voice memo responses on my phone. I've got 4 phones, a laptop, and a laptop going right now. I will be giving them responses directly via voice memo so that they don't have to wait in line to find their answer. And we enroll for the 2025 school year in December. And this is the best possible time to be a part of our school because we kick off with our money ritual. 95% of our students come into our school and they do the ritual first, but anybody that doesn't enroll by January 1st does it with a smaller group that I'm not personally a part of, that my husband's not personally a part of. We still check your homework, but there is nothing like kicking off your year with a massive group of people that are showing up every single day like you to face their relationship with money head on, not optimistically, not hopefully, strategically. What's my financial goal? What's for sale? How many do I have to sell to reach my goal? Can I not accomplish this on construction work? Things are going to change. That's the business side of it. Then we bring in the magic. Show me how things have to change. Show me my way out financially of this. Show me what I need to be doing in 2025 to line up with my goals. Show me the next step and give me the courage to take it. This is how we kick off. This is how we celebrate January 1st at school. And you will hear about money from me on social media, on my newsletter, all December long. And I just couldn't be more excited about anything in my life, you guys. You can obviously tell how much I love this topic, but I know what it's like to try and manifest my rent. I know what it's like to scramble. That was a majority of my life. And now I know what it's like to say, is everybody ready? I know what it's like to be going in the house, jumping around, showing my children the 2-bedroom park view suite overlooking Central Park that we get to spend a wonderful chunk in the winter in while doing our Home Alone inspired winter vacation. I am very excited to do all of this. So let's do our first question. Typing this in the middle of feels. So in order for me to be able to answer questions, there has to be a question, but we do have feelings room, which is really good for having events so that you're not typing a question in the middle of your feels. You're going to be, especially if you have emotional definition, you're going to feel differently a couple days later. And we don't want me to start reading in between the lines of just a big feeling that you're having right now. So whoops, like I said, you guys, I'm voice memoing here. So what I'm going to do is just look for the question mark on here. I feel weird. Is this normal when we hit publish at 0.7 and start the red line of surrender? On the red line of surrender, you are surrendering your attachment to your goals. Entrepreneurs always overshoot their goals. On their debut launch for a product that has no reputation, no reviews, they're like, I want to do $1 million. And a lot of times it just doesn't work out like that. So yes, to surrender, it feels like giving up. This is why it's so hard to surrender. If we think about this in like the military term, the war term, to surrender is to recognize that your ass has been beat and that you will have to submit to the other party's authority. And nobody surrenders without trying their best to win at first. So surrendering looks like giving up. And this is why so many of us are so resistant to doing it. We had a really funny case study for this on the Enneagram yesterday because I was telling her, you got to surrender. And she goes, yeah, I know. But I said, that's that keyword with surrender. A lot of times you go, yeah, I know. But there is no I know but when it comes to surrender. I describe it like this. The white line of magic where we're building our product is climbing up the high dive. And it's really important to have your goal for that. I want to have, make $1 million on this launch. The black line of magic is like walking along the plank where you take into account all of the inconsistencies and the limitations of your business that would not permit you to do $1 million on this. That's the black line of magic. And you keep modifying with that goal in mind. But when you hit the red line of magic, that final third, voice memo, when you hit that red line of magic, that final third, it's time to jump. And when it's time to jump, you do not tie a little rope around your waist to make you feel safe about jumping. You don't get to get your little inner tube that says, I know, but on it and say, okay, on these terms, I can jump. To surrender is to surrender completely. So if you feel like you're getting your ass kicked, if you feel like that's correct, yeah, but keep going. And when you get to 0.7, celebrate. If you want to know more about this, I really recommend, especially if you're struggling at this point right here, I'm going to give you full permission to just go and watch the Enneagram class from yesterday, just 0.7. To surrender is to surrender completely. And I think this would be really useful for you. Again, a question is a sentence that ends in a question mark. So if I can't find the question clearly in your question, just go to feelings room first and get all of these feelings out so that you can think clearly. Nobody's reading it. Nobody's looking at it. This is for your own clarity. And then you can drop the question here and I can be of even more service to you. I hope that this answers your question. Let's move forward. All right, cool. My thumb is always so charged up, you guys, after leaving. Like, I swear to God, I'm probably losing so much energy from like stamping down. Unfortunately, my app doesn't have like a hold and go function for the, like a hold and go function for voice memos. And so I am still learning. Okay, this person says, the more I study with you and listen to you, the more I desire to become more articulate and really good at painting scenarios and pictures and describing things with feeling the way that you do. My question is, what do you think is the best and quickest way to achieve this? So is it taking classes and being taught? I'm sure it's also practice, but I know I'm practicing something that makes sense practicing. Okay, got it. So here's the thing. This is why I love it. I'm going to try to delicately hold my voice memo down this time. You're a manifester. You're a manifester. Your job is to inform. And your job is kind of also to offend people that aren't really ready for the information. It's not your business how they feel about it. Now, I'm a generator, so I can talk a lot more. I'm also a writer, and I've been a writer since I was like 9 years old. So painting pictures is something that I've been doing basically my whole life. I'm also a big reader, which makes me a better writer, but these aren't things that I picked up when I decided I wanted to be a teacher. Like, this is how I am. I've also been doing this for 10 years and I don't smoke weed anymore, which means that I'm a lot clearer and better at finishing the sentences that I started than I was when I first started doing all of this. But the bottom line is that I speak from my heart. I'm telling you guys the truth. I don't have time to rehearse. I never know what questions are coming. I never know what to look for. I never know what's going to happen. I just show up here and to the best of my ability, share from my heart. And I took a public speaking course with Gail Larson, who is a speaking coach for all these like coaches and stuff. And the only thing that I really got from it, that one key takeaway was just share like your story, share your story. So I've had a lot of experience doing stuff like this, and you know, with your experience, you will have it as well. But fundamentally, like, you and I are built different. You're a manifester, so you're here to inform and get to the point a lot quicker than I am. So don't ever try to be, especially as a manifestor, you're kind of like a rare bird in human design. What you don't want to do is, you're not ever trying to look pretty like me. You're leaning into looking pretty like you and doing it in your way. And in fact, we go really deeply into some of the different content strategies and stuff for manifestors. Thank you. All right, so let's find out what TikTok has flagged me for this time. Let's see. I am discussing drugs. I am containing themes that some people might find uncomfortable. Okay. It's very easy to offend TikTok, but I am here for y'all anyways. But yeah, I feel like they should just take one look at my face. Actually, hopefully they don't do this, because then my whole account would get restricted. But like, I've had to, this was really key for me when it came to like planning ad strategy and stuff like that. And as someone like me, I'm just like controversial in general. Like, I am a trigger. I have a tattoo on my forehead, which is like incredibly jarring for basic people. But like, this is always just stuff like running ads. I'm like just a strange account, but also because I'm like a strange account and a person that people kind of need to either come across on their own or be introduced to through someone they trust. Word of mouth is just how my business has to be. And that means I get to save a lot of money on ad spend. Okay, so let's go down here. Oh yeah, wonderful. So this is a question I love. Can you give me a breakdown of what Ra Uruhu means by up on the roof? Please and thank you, Sifu. Sifu, let me, oh, is my voice, hey, okay, cool. So ironically, I just wrote about this in my authorship newsletter this morning, which goes out on Sunday mornings to all of the authors. But on the roof is referring to a part, 1/3 of the life of somebody who is a 6 line in human design. So if you are a 6 line in human design, you spend the first 30 years of your life as a 3 line, meaning it's all trial and error. Basically, everything you do is a wash until age 30. Now, once you turn 30 or once your Saturn return hits, it's going to be different for everybody, but once your Saturn return hits, you enter the stage of what's called being like on the roof, which means that you're able to make sense of the mess of the first 30 years of your life. You understand that it was data, that it was trial and error, and why things had to happen the way that they happened. And this lasts through until your Chiron return, which is around age 50. Okay, good to know. My voice memos cap out here at a minute, which is really interesting because in time I'll be able to deliver 1-minute responses, and that'll make my content so much better on social media. So after this experience of being on the roof for, roughly 20-25 years, you then come back down and join the people. So your on the roof phase is referring to a stage of your life where you're able to make sense of the first 30 years of trial and error of your life. You can learn more about this in the free Fuckless ebook or also the free Fuckless audiobook. With the audiobook, you can lean ahead towards the chapters where we discuss the profile lines. But if you are a 3 line, there is no on the roof phase. So your whole life is going to be trial and error. And you're basically teaching other people what not to do. And I'm a 3 line. And and I'm a 3 line. So we'll just leave it there. But I love talking. Oh my God, so do I. I was talking to my son the other day about what it is that you're meant to do in life are the things that you've always loved to do. And I told my husband that I told my son that I've always loved talking. But I lived in a family where I was just told to shut up all the time. I have 6 older brothers. My older sisters were like these two, they were very close in age, all the way up here, then all these boys, and then myself and my younger sister. And I just grew up with a bunch of people always telling me to shut up. And so I did, but I've always been a talker. And, with practice, I can listen. I can be a really good listener as well. But having a school works out a lot better for me than one-on-one, because after bartending for, 11 years, when people are just going on a tangent about their own bullshit, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, literally shut up. I've heard all of this before. I know exactly where you're going with this. Okay, cool. How do you feel about a refund guarantee? So there's someone I follow who specializes in teaching ethical marketing. You're just going to find out what all of this means for you. I don't have refund guarantees, especially not for live workshops. Why the fuck would I? I'm putting personal attention into every single one of these relationships. I can offer you a free term on which to try my work, which is the free version of my app. Come check it out. I can offer you a very low cost commitment to try my work, which is try a month for $200. But I'm not refunding that because it's your job to do your research on me. It's your job to do your research on me. So, and that's clearly laid out in our terms and conditions. We have a super low refund rate, but also I understand that if I'm elegant about my refund policy, then I will see these customers again. If I'm cunt about it, I won't. So I don't cling to money that people are trying to take back. And we do have case by case basis type of stuff. For example, if somebody, I don't want to go into this because then everybody's going to try and do it. Well, not everybody, so I guess I can. But let's say somebody just paid for annual and then they decide that it's really not a fit for them. We don't hold people's feet to the fire. The last thing we want is people in our school that don't want to be there. But fortunately, a very low trial. You can try it all for free, and then you can try it for cheap. And by that point, you should have made up your mind. But it's a case by case basis. But don't listen to somebody else that's like an expert on ethical marketing saying that you have to have refund guarantees. You don't have to do anything anyone else tells you to do, period. Especially not in this like digital age where there's so many people with like, oh, this is the new thing. It was, it was these same kind of idiots started this whole trend. There's like this whole trend about, oh, don't put your prices on your website, that all of the coaches started doing. That's so stupid. You know how rich you have to be to buy something without looking at the price? And then even more idiotically, get on the phone with them and only tell them the price is over the phone. So as if the customer is so stupid that they can't figure this out. Go put in emotional labor, an hour of your time, your most valuable resource, for people that haven't even seen the price yet. How can they be serious about it if they haven't seen the price yet? You know, talk about sleazy. So, but there's always going to be some new trend. Oh, this is what ethical marketing is. This is how we're doing it now. Fucking do what feels right for you. Yeah. Period. Right? Period. But to me, it's such a strange thing. I've always had my prices loud and clear on my site because I'm proud of them. That's why I don't have sales. No shade, like period. No shade to anybody that's getting their bag on Black Friday. I've recommended this to plenty of people. I did this early in my career. Black Friday sales have definitely saved our asses before. But the price for my work right now is the bottom line. I can't make it cheaper than that. So I don't. It's not discounted, like period. And I could totally do it, and sweet, especially for stuff that doesn't sell my lifetime. But like the price is just the price with me. Okay, hello. How do I decide whether to keep going with college or not? So I only recently found out that you don't get refunded for if you quit college, that you don't get your money back. I had no idea. I was literally doubled over laughing my fucking ass off when my husband said that. I said, that's such bullshit. If you drop out of college, you don't get your money back. I've been telling people, fuck yeah, drop out of college this entire time, especially if you don't want to do what you're being trained for, like period. And it's just the pipeline, the pipeline from public school into college. And at no point do they ask you what you actually want to do with your life. But here's what I've learned. It is definitely a bigger decision than I ever thought it was going to be if you should drop out of college or not. It's not a decision that you should take lightly. But here are some things that I would ask myself if I was weighing this. What's the best case scenario financially for me if I complete this qualification program? How much do people make on average in my field? And do I like those terms? Also, how much longer can I do this for? How much longer do I have? And if I have to see it all the way through, is there a way for me to be really happy about it? And then the other thing is like, do I actually want to do this? Who are people who have succeeded in their field? Because if you don't want to do it, it's never going to make you happy. And you're just going to be, it's never going to make you happy. You're going to quit. You're going to be miserable, or worse, you'll just stay there and not quit, even though you are miserable. If it's important to you to love your job, then you need to assess this in your life right now. What I have found to be true is that when people don't love their job, they just quit it. It might have worked for boomers to be like, just suffer through it to the end of your life. But like, we're exposed to way too much now to settle for things that are too low. So if you don't love it, it's never going to make you happy. You're going to quit it eventually. And it's going to take 2 years for anything else that you want to do to become profitable. And if you're doing something for yourself, it's only something that you're super passionate about, that you'll be able to see all the way through to the finish line. You just won't have the energy for the low points if it's not something that you're super passionate about. So this is something that only you can answer for yourself. But if it doesn't make you happy, time is more valuable than money. I'd cut your losses. And I'd start focusing, but I'd make a plan for, if it's not going to be this, it's going to be this. I would give myself a fixed period of time to go and do like school of life type stuff, like traveling. I would give myself a really set period of time to go travel or whatever I needed, and then say, okay, and then I'm going to work with this business course or that business course starting here. I'm going to get these business books now, but I'm going to give myself 3 months to find what it is that I want to do. Then I'm going to give myself 18 months and this limit on my credit card to turn that into a career. And I'm not going to criticize myself during this time whatsoever, but I'm going to give myself this long to figure it out. And just remember that it takes 2 years for something to become profitable. So 2 years from when you start. So you decide when you're going to start or if you're even going to do it. I need to, okay, I'm going to need you guys to just bear with me for a second, because here's what's happening. If you guys are hearing me like repeat myself and stuff, it's because my phone is going to sleep while I'm doing a voice memo, and I need to figure out how to not make that happen. Give me 1 second. Turn passcode on. Don't have that. Turn this and that on. No, I think I'm just going to have to figure out how to do this, you guys. But when we first started all of this stuff, like at a time, in progress, it seemed completely impossible that I would ever be able to do multiple things at once, like leave people voice memos and be live at the same time. And here we are. So it's never going to be perfect on your first draft, but just keep trying. All right, next question in ritual. You're talking about 3 different types of flow. And I'm wondering, in the example you gave of cleaning the house with not listening to a podcast or music is a neutral state of flow. Is it still considered a neutral state of flow if your brain nonstop sings or talks to itself? Yes, absolutely, because that's just what you're observing your mind singing and talking to itself. But neutral is you're not putting anything in your mind and you're not outputting anything based on what's in your mind. So you're just observing your mind. This is me when I'm gardening. I'm just like watching my thoughts. I'm like, girl, you are whack. I can really observe my crazy in the garden super easily. Let me see if I can get this like that. Okay, cool. All right. I've noticed that whenever I move apartments, I love it at first, but quickly start to feel icky there within 2 months. It seems like it's not even, who here follows that Morgan, the really like crazy looking lady on TikTok who's always moving apartments with her boyfriend Lou. Her name's like Morgan something. This goes out to you if you ever find this. It seems like it's not even the decor state of the place because I keep it clean and cute, but my constant presence in it just seems to make it turn yucky to me. I can't tell if I'm just polluting it with a bad vibe or what. What do you do to keep your home feeling homey, or what you think the reason for this phenomenon is? So this is like classic root chakra, like not able to root down, not able to be stable. And you actually called out what the problem is here. You're like, my constant presence in it seems to make it turn yucky to me. You're not at home in yourself, so no matter where you go, it doesn't matter because you're in it. You know, for you, that thing they say, wherever you go, there you are, is like a curse for you, because you're like, I keep moving apartments, but I keep coming with me. And so this is a you thing. This is a you thing. So I'm going to recommend a couple of videos for you, but Wheels Reinvented, starting from the root up, would be a good place for you to go when you're able to, handle another workshop. Like, we are your guidance counselors. So when you're ready for a new workshop, just shoot us a message and we will talk about how to work that into your curriculum. I know everybody's wanting to do ritual in January, but it's easy. You can take Wheels pretty slow. It's the root chakra that you need the most. And then just quick fix. In the meantime, I want you to go find my video on Instagram called How to Love Yourself When You Hate Yourself. It's from when we were in Paris and from when we first got to Paris. So early September, you'll see me on top of the roof in Malais. It's very beautiful. And I'm eating a peach. And someone on there commented, why are you talking with food in your mouth? And I said, because swallowing costs extra. So that is, and I'm very proud of that zing. And I think a lot of people like that zing. I'm allowed to comment back snarky things to people if it's funny, but I'm not allowed to comment back snarky things. If it becomes a teaching or if it's funny, I'm allowed to do it. Hey baby, it's King Moses. Well, hello, King Moses. Hi, Onami. Finishing ritual. House Fuckless Express. Mesoterica wheels Fuckless autoerotic as a year study path for a zero platform newbie. So we're here to be your guidance counselors. So we only have to focus on the next right step. Fuckless Express is the best place if you're a platform newbie, and then also go to business resources where it says what platform should I be on, and do all of Fuckless Express. Fuckless Express is basically just the first third of Fuckless plus the 0 to 40K business strategy. Keep in contact with me in Q&A throughout all of this. And I personally, because on Fuckless Express, you can move through it pretty fast, I would just focus on that and not bring in another workshop until I would just get that out of the way so that you can have your content strategy on lock and start posting regularly. And once you're done with that, I would bring in other workshops as well. If you ever need another workshop or you want to do something alongside it, you know the drill. Just shoot us a message and let us know. But let's not map out a whole year's worth of content for you. Let's take it in response. You're a manifesting generator as well. Let's take it in response to how each of these workshops are landing and what you need most at this time. And that is the beauty of school. There's no two curriculums that are the same. And I'm even thinking about letting people just do the sex magic side of erotic, just for alchemizing the sexual trauma, like on autoerotic and erotic wealth. It's not going to give them a financial result. And the vision everyone's trying to create usually costs more money, but I kind of just try and give the people what they want. From a musical or other perspective, would you consider a neutralizing force between noise and silence to be rhythm, intention, structure, or something else I'm totally missing? So when we're talking about a neutralizing force is always the container in which something happens. So noise and silence exist in what? In space. But now these are the questions for you to unpack, because I can't philosophy. I don't want to pull something out of my ass, and this isn't a question that's ever bothered me before, but the questions that bother you are what you are here to teach. So you're referring, of course, to the law of three. And the law of three that says for any and all things, there's an active, passive, and neutralizing principle. So it seems to me, we need to define what you're trying to find the three parts of. Is it sound? Is it music? But if it's sound, if it's sound, then we can break it down. But in order to figure out like what it is we're trying to find the three forces of, we have to know that what it is that we're trying to break down. Is it time? Is it light? What are the three aspects of it? Because there will be three. And then when it comes to the neutralizing force, the neutralizing force is always the home or the container where the experiment or where the playing field where these other two forces take place. So for example, Democrats and Republicans fight within the world of politics, and politics is a fight. And that's just what that is. So in fourth way, we learn that you lose a lot of the energy that you need for your life through unnecessary tension. So for me, finding a way to not, I always think of Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke, like pushing open when he's rescuing San, pushing open the big wooden door with just like all of his muscular strength and the blood's just dripping off of him. Like my fucking thumb feels like that when I do Q&A. And so, so I need to find a way to make it calm for me. So whenever I have a super big question, I just have to look for the question mark. If you ever need help getting clear about your question, just go to feelings room first, get the big feelings out, and then it'll be easier here. So we're at 22 days into ritual, slowly moving into fuckless. Great. But do you trust moving with excitement? Now I do have to read this actually. I got clear inside of fuckless about my desires of doing RL teaching with groups. Okay. Feels spacious to me and exciting. Good. Before this insight, I was focusing on an online business. Now is my question. I know pivoting is part of the progress, but an online business seems more profitable. So something can be both in real life and online. There's a lot of people that do these hybrids with a lot of ease. You know, maybe you're collecting data on what works and what doesn't work in real life and then moving it online. But you can do both. And whether you have an in real life business or an online one, then a social media presence is going to be really useful for you. We're going to want to take it online eventually. It can be way cheaper to do something online as well. But Fuckless is definitely the teaching that I recommend. And if it's not a clear question, it will be clear to you once you go through Fuckless. So the question, how I would say this question could be clear is, and how I'll recap it, you know, for the Q&A caption is, I'm not sure if I want to do an online or an in real life business, but should I do Fuckless anyways? And then the answer for that would be yes. So that's helpful. I'm really, to me, retaining the all questions asked policy is like the most important thing to me, but it's going to be one of the hardest things to scale. So, question: do you know of anyone in this community who works as a VA and is looking for additional work? So I got this advice from a mentor and it was really helpful, and I've used it ever since then, is that the right people are always in your audience. Now, if you want a VA you really vibe with, then, you know, definitely go to your audience. But you're going to have a few VAs as you're working on getting it right. And sometimes it's useful to just set a really clear SOP, standard operating procedure, in the beginning so that you can use it for anybody. You can definitely, you know, if you find somebody through, I haven't used Upwork, but, you know, if you find someone through something online where they live in another country where your money goes really far, it can be super helpful. But if you have no idea what the standard operating procedures are, then you are most likely going to have to work with somebody that really speaks your language, where communication is not a problem. The first thing that you can offload is going to be email and tech support, and those are pretty easy, especially because people can just forward you what they don't know. But something that we do in our business is like, one thing that we just don't offload is anything finance related. So, and it's just easier that way. There's two of us in our business, me and my husband. We have one part-time assistant. He and I can easily handle the money side of things, or anywhere where like money is being touched, counted, looked at, etc. It's very easy for us to just handle that. But I would go to your audience first, for sure. I've gotten all of for people that I'm working with continuously, I always go to my audience. And some of the things that I ask to look at with people is for them to send me a picture of their room, because you can tell a lot about somebody's way of being by the state of their room. And sometimes people will send you a picture of their room in March with like a Christmas tree in it, and you're like, okay, was this the last time your room was clean? And that's helpful. People want to help, you know. And then just for, you know, pricing transparency for you, we pay $25 an hour for tech support, but there's very little of that required per day. I'm actually going to keep an eye on this voice memo because I think it's useful for other people. How we structure it is, when people are just starting on with us, especially for work that's kind of like undetermined, I have them invoice me every $500. Like we did this with my web designer, and she actually liked it so much that we're still on that pay structure. Just invoice me every $500 so I can see what $500 worth of work is here. In the beginning with new hires, we have them on $25 an hour, 2 hours a day, very part-time. And I'm just clear with people from the beginning that like there is only part-time available for us in this business. And there's never been a problem with that. We also pay people via PayPal or Venmo, because PayPal and Venmo will issue them 1099s. And that way they don't have to wait for us and our accounting to be able to move forward with theirs. It's their responsibility. But I just make it clear, yeah, we only have part-time work available. Also, you're going to do your own taxes on it. Cool. That'll be very helpful in the business resources, right? Yes, yes, yes. I have made so many mistakes in business, but now I know. Mommy, been stuck on a lead magnet for a little while now. Lead magnet should be what we just learned. Mindful breathing for weed addiction. I attempted a lead magnet around mindful breathing. When I try to boil down what I've learned this month, it's how to get through a breakup or how to curb an addiction and pull yourself out of your depression lair. I think both of your last ideas for example, teaching breath work and mindful breathing, this is a great thing to do live. It's a great way to kind of show up. You can do mindful breathing and Q&A with people as a live stream. It's a great way to interact with your audience. You're a Gemini and a manifesting generator, so the gift of gab is not something that you struggle with. But I really think how to get through a breakup and how to pull yourself out of your depression layer could be the same thing. You can think about which one is going to be more applicable for more people at all times of the year. How to pull yourself out of your depression layer might be the greater concept. For example, the difference between yes, there's a squash, but a squash is in the category of vegetable. How to pull yourself out of your depression layer is definitely the vegetable category, and get you through a breakup is more like the squash, which means that you could make your lead magnet of how to pull yourself out of your depression layer. And I think that that's super resonant. Your first lead magnet, you just got to get it out there. Like we say in that 0 to 40K business strategy, you just got to rip the fucking Band-Aid and get it out there. But I think the breath work, the mindful breathing and all of that is a really good thing to do live with your audience regularly. Start to build up some trust, start to build up events. And that's what I would do about that. Guys, the sun is going to be so nice today. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Mommy. Let me see can I check your most recent 3 Instagram posts that have been crafted since starting Fuckless. I only have a few followers. The Elephant. Let me see if I can see this. So I'm not actually able to look this up right now. So I'm doing this live right now, so I'm not actually able to step away and look at your Instagram. But if your core offer is one-on-one work, then really if your core offer is one-on-one work, then one-on-one clients are intuitive, and you're going to get them from a volume of content and not just individual pieces. So it doesn't matter what I think about your posts. What matters is what's working and what's not. What felt good for you to post? What is getting attention? What do people want to hear more of? What is engaging your audience? What do you feel like you could talk about all day? But if your core offer is one-on-one, it's really just getting in front of as many people as possible and trying to get as many people on the phone as possible. But this is not something that you can accomplish in 3 posts. You have to just keep showing up and talking about it and giving that information, especially as a projector. I've walked this road. I've made some big mistakes. Here's the top 5 lessons I've learned. For a projector, you can really lay the content on thick. So I would also advise you to think about, here's 5 things I learned about this. Here's 5 things I learned about that, and pack a lot of information into one post. It doesn't have to be showing up daily. It's packing a lot of information into one place, which is what makes a projector so good at what they do. So you just have to for one-on-one, you just have to keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. And I will look, if you want, do me a favor. When you go to the top of the message threads here, like right here in Safe House Exclusive and Q&A, you'll see right at the top above all the chats, it says channels. Then there's the one next to it that says messages. Send me a message with this same thing and I'll take a look at it when I'm not actually here on Q&A right now. It's just, I don't even have the Instagram app on this phone. I tried to look from my browser and it wouldn't let me. So I did try. I promise. I know that people want to be seduced by me because of my 5-1 projector HD. I feel different. I definitely feel more in my power than ever. Can you feel it? I will feel it when I look and see. Currently, oh, am I almost done with Q&A? This is what I'm looking for, you guys. This is what I'm looking for, to be able to do this quickly. Currently working on, oh, a 6-2 reflector. Oh, a 6-2. Oh, you're the reflector. Oh my gosh. I had no idea. This is so interesting. I'm going to be so excited. Somebody that I was talking to on text messages with a really interesting business, I now see has a very rare human design. I get a lot of reflectors here. But that's super exciting. Okay, so currently working my way through ritual. I feel like a floodgate has opened. I want to take in all the information and inspiration at once, but I know for stability's sake, I need to be cautious. How can I absorb and organize all this information effectively without feeling compelled to act on it the moment that it comes to my attention? So, you're a reflector. That's so exciting for me. Reflectors also do, you're the only human design type that can hear the entire collective as one voice. Like other people hear arguing and you just really hear at the deepest level like what it is that the people want and the people are missing. This is so exciting for me. Now, here's the thing. You wake up a different person every single day. The only way that you can really track you can't compare yourself to any other people. A reflector can only compare themselves to the moon. So the moon is a different way every single day, but over the course of a lunar cycle, there's consistency. And over the course of, a few months, you can see, oh, wow, I show up like this at this time every month. So you wake up every single day in a lunar cycle a different person, and some days you're going to be really inspired and other days you're not. And it's important to go with it and allow yourself to be surprised by yourself on these days where you feel really motivated and inspired to go for it and to really act on it. This is safe. This is healthy. This is what you want to be doing. But it's going to feel like this floodgate that's been opened. It's going to feel like a whole bunch. It's going to feel disconnected. And after a lunar cycle, it's all going to start to make sense with you. But the clarity of how all of these bits work together isn't going to come to you until after a lunar cycle. So post away, engage away, act on it. When you're inspired to do it, do it. When you're not inspired to do it, don't. Don't feel like you have to show up consistently and be the same person every day, because that's not a possibility for you. But when on a day that you're inspired to make content, don't go stand in line at the post office for something. Seize the moment, because who you are one day and who you are the following day is going to be totally different. So there is so much power in this human design type, but don't worry about how it's all going to come together yet. And don't feel like you have to organize it for your clients, because they're actually not clear until you're clear. So, and your clarity takes a lunar cycle to come through. So you can act on it as much as you want, but don't worry about how it's all going to come together, because how it all comes together is going to surprise you. And your people don't need an explanation. Even if they're asking for it, can you clarify this for me? They will get the clarity when you get the clarity. Don't try and jump the gun on that. This is really exciting. I'm very excited to pair your business strategy that I've known about with your human design. Very unique and super cool. That's so exciting. I love, what an exciting human design type. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so here's the second time someone is asking me. I always get the same question about neutral time. I always get the same question about neutral time. And I feel like no, I did definitely answer this. So in the FAQ for ritual, we talk about neutral time. I don't know if you're actually in that workshop right now, but neutral time, if it's background music that's not distracting you at all, that doesn't have any lyrics, like you can do it, but it can't be anything that you're thinking about. If you've never fucking sat in quiet, just do it. Like if you've never gone out with it, just don't put anything in. For you, if you're asking about it, couldn't this just count as neutral time if I'm listening to music? Then for you, no. It's kind of like buybacks in a bar. If you're like, do you do buybacks? Well, you ask, so no. So if you're asking if you can listen to music in neutral time, the answer for you is no. You need to learn what it's like to just be in a little bit of quiet. So, and then can I explain to me what your boundaries look like with social media? So my boundaries with social media just got even more refined because we got a work phone specifically to have higher quality videos for YouTube. So hi, new work phone. But this is cool now because I have all of my social media apps just on this work phone. So when it's time to post, we have it all contained in this one phone, and I don't have to install and uninstall apps because I was having to like log in a lot to do it. And then it's actually really nice because I just turn the work phone off when I'm done with doing social media things. So, oh my God, I love this feature for myself. I know this isn't a reality for everybody, but I have also been in business for a good long time, and up until I got this work phone, I was just installing and then deleting the apps when I was done with it. And then of course, like every entrepreneur, there was a really long time where you could catch me on any social media app, notifications on, you catch me at any time. I was in my DMs. Now I haven't ever checked. I don't even know how to check DMs on TikTok. But I'm just never there. But now I really like it because it's all just on one phone, so I don't have to install and uninstall. But for the longest time, I was just uninstalling afterwards. And then I was allowed, like sometimes I would allow myself at the end of the day a little time to just what I call run around and just like kind of look and see what people are doing. But now the only times that I'm allowed to post or browse is while a video is actively uploading. And then I usually use that time to go and engage with the comments on the previous video. And if I'm putting a video up and I want to make sure people get it, I'll usually engage in the comments with people for like the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. I have, I might have more followers than you. So there is a lot of activity within that first 15 minutes that I can engage in. But this person says, I just end up looking at social media on the internet browser. It said, and if you're looking at things on the internet browser, even though you know that you're supposed to be off social media, you are not allowed to hold your phone then, girl. Then you got to put your phone away. But look, you either lose your life to wasted time. Your life is time. You either lose your life to wasted time or you take your fucking life back. What's it gonna be? That's the situation. That's where we're at. Ta-da. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make sure that I reuse those as well. I just found out how to like reuse voice memos through my app so that I can add voice memo to, guys, I just love finding new features and platforms that I'm already using, but now I can add voice memo responses to FAQ. I think I fucked up with ritual. I was on track almost every day until around 25 to 30 day. And from that point on, I got mental health problem, depressive states, general overwhelm with responsibilities, and I stopped. I'm now on day 34 and I want to do ritual to day 40 anyway, but do you think ritual will work? So ritual it's a very good practice to just do it the whole way through. But since you were already basically at the end of it, I'm going to say just go ahead and finish it up at your own discretion. Ritual, it's not exclusively magic, it's strategic. And so you did the majority of this work wholeheartedly, showing up every single day. Life got in the way for you really big. That's fine. We understand. We've all been there. Just finish up the last bit with a great attitude and with no concessions whatsoever. Do the last chunk of it perfectly and you're going to be fine. Stairquake? What is this? I have a theory that schizophrenic people have a left hemisphere damage. I have a theory that you need to learn how to spell these words before talking about it. Sorry. Out of context, maybe. out of context maybe because I didn't know where that comment came from, but like, if you're going to be talking about left hemisphere damage and schizophrenic and all of this stuff, I think that you would probably want to really be sure that you have the right words. But who the fuck am I to talk, right? I thought teetotaling was going off the rails and being a train wreck, but turns out that teetotaling is being sober. Where did I first come across Gurdjieff's work? Oh, this is four questions right in a row. Love it. So how did I first come across Gurdjieff's work? My very first teacher was a fourth way teacher. Then I started hearing his name a lot as I started kind of working my way up. Basically, I had a lot of resistance to Osho, so much resistance after. I was always just like, ugh, like Tantra people. But I knew that what I resist is usually something that I'm craving. And then after I watched the Osho documentary, I was like, look, nobody gets that type of career if what they're teaching doesn't work. And so I bought a lot of Osho books, and then I heard Osho talking about Gurdjieff, and then I hired a fourth way teacher. And then, because fourth way is like in code until someone opens it up for you. So I know a lot of people that read In Search of the Miraculous when they were like 19, but it just never clicked for them. It's because second level teachings are orally passed down. So you need to be initiated by a living teacher. I paid a lot of money to have that experience at a time where I could not afford it, but I made it happen. No regrets, no looking back. Where can I find the names of each line of supervision? There is only one line of supervision. That's the line that goes 142857. I believe at lesson 4 of, maybe it's lesson 4, lesson 5 of the Enneagram. You don't get to pick and choose with the Enneagram. Learn it correctly or do not learn it. But as you work forward in the Enneagram, you'll get the words of each one of the lines that make up the lines. But do the workshop. Don't try and cut ahead because that's not what you get to do with the Enneagram, period. What happened to the kittens I got for the kids? 2 of them lived, but only once we moved them outdoors. They were originally barn cats. Then the person rescued them on Craigslist, brought them indoors. Almost all of them died. We took them to the vet like the most, a bajillion times. And then actually once we moved, because we were just like watching them die indoors. And once we moved them, I was like, okay, let's move them to the barn. It's warm. We got them like a heated bed and just like kind of let them do their thing outside. And then they started doing a lot better once we stopped fussing about them so much. And what makes me the most powerful witch in North America? I don't really use that tagline anymore. That's like 2 years old. But what makes me the most powerful witch in North America is that I understand that you don't bend universal laws to people, that you bend people to universal laws. And I am an expert in bending people to universal laws. So that's what makes me the most powerful witch in North America. And I should use that again because people always get really heated about that. But I love that. I love a rapid fire question stack, right? How fun is How you doing, Instagram? Hey, just so you know, the reason why I'm sitting here shitting on somebody about spelling everything wrong, but just so you know, this Instagram Q&A is called Soft House Q&A because my husband typed it and not me. So that's on him. And that's on his excellent education. Why do I put my homework off to the very last minute possible? Because it's your style and you can decide if that works for you or not, Sometimes I do things at the last minute, whatever. But as long as you're getting it done, whatever, do it. That might just be your style. If it doesn't work for you, change it. But that might just be your style. And wheels, what if we don't do the homework and just keep moving through the chakras? Then you are not doing a workshop correctly and you know it. And I'm curious to know of what type of result you expect from a recipe that you are not following. That's what I want to know about that. Out to projector so she can handle a little bitter. She can handle a little bitter information. It's solicited, so she's okay. Projectors are also here to be informed. I'm devouring the material, and even though I'm only on the second lesson, I'm seeing so much and I'm making some changes. Is there a recommended rhythm to do fuckless, or is it okay to just get my teeth into it and keep going, implementing as I'm going along? So what I'm going to have you do, because I don't want you to get bogged down in fuckless by anything that's not actually relevant to you at this time, do me a favor. I'm not going to get to this until Monday, because we shut down for the weekend over here. But what I'm going to have you do is go to the top of like all the, where the Q&A is, hit the back button. Whoops, let me try this again. before I can recommend anything on Fuckless with you, we just want to see where you're at in business, because you'll either do the express version or you'll do the full version. But if you're doing the full version when you should actually be doing the express version, you're going to get way too bogged down. You're going to feel like you're never going to finish it because you just don't have enough data to keep it going. So what we're going to have you do is go back, just hit the back button out of this Q&A channel. And then what you're going to do is just look up at the top. It says channels, messages, go to messages, write me a message, and just screenshot this same thing here and let me know what's going on with you in business right now. The main thing I need to know is, what are you currently selling in your business? Do you have a product for sale? Have you been doing this for a while, or are we at the very beginning where we need to create a platform? Drop that in messages. Please make sure you include the screenshot so I can pick up where we left off, and that's how we'll go forward from here. Love it. Cool. Okay. Last 2 questions. I'm on day 39 of ritual. Yay for you. Doing this in Enneagram has seriously turned my life around in such a short amount of time. I feel that with business, money, etc., I'm getting to a really good place with mindset. Love that for you. Feeling so inspired all the time, but oh my God, battling with a breakup I went through 9 months ago. I apply a lot of what I know and what I'm learning when I feel down, but it's as if I'm not super unified. Stuff feels strong, consistently present when it comes to money, etc., but not with love. I struggle how to apply what I know to heartbreak. Do you have advice on how to live the knowledge more consistently so that it can cover more of my areas? So first of all, I'm so sorry that you're going through a breakup, even if it happened a while ago. Like, breakups are brutal. What I'm going to have you do is do a painkiller on this partner that you were with for that, is causing so much heartbreak for you. That's expedited grief recovery. And sometimes it just takes a minute, but you can guarantee that you've done all the grieving on this correctly that needed to be done. You can honor and accept the full scope of the relationship. So you can either do this on my website or do it in app, mommyonami.com/painkiller. You can either fill out a page, but my favorite way to do it is as the audio meditation. It's easier to pause if you do, if it's, the one that's on YouTube is, I have kind of a hard time pausing it when I'm on the phone, but you can, if you listen to the one that's on the podcast, it's very easy to like start and stop and just speak your answers, because it doesn't need to be written down, and having a little of that talk therapy is super helpful. Something else I like to do is like put this on my headphones and go for a walk and just like talk myself through it, because it just looks like you're on the phone, but you can really get it out, all of the words, and check in with me after that and let me know how you're feeling. Okay, great, wonderful. And you guys, that is a wrap for our Q&A here. I would stick around and answer some more questions for you, but I'm really trying to learn how to do this a little bit faster so that I just don't, so that I'm not expecting, or what's the word I'm looking for, so that I am not judging Q&A as being more work than it is, because this is always going to be a part of our business. And I really hope that this is not the last year that we can do all questions answered. Like, if it's not going to be all questions answered, what it would be is like a live call. If we have like 1,000 students, I might need to just have a live call where if you have a question, show up and bring it. But I will do basically everything in my power to make sure that it doesn't have to be that, because I really care about the individual customers' experiences here. And I think that with a combination of like really solid FAQ, and also like maybe an assistant helping me out in Q&A so that we know that that I'm only answering new questions, I'm going to do everything that I can to do all questions asked. But today, what I can do is not tell myself that Q&A takes 2 hours because I was blah, 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 blah on social media, instead of, my arm looks really fat like this, you guys. Because I was like blabbing on social media instead of actually answering questions. So I'm going to say thank you so much to everyone for being here today. I had such a good time. I will see you next week for Q&A. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will talk to you later. Bye.